Listen, people. Hi, everybody. Welcome, darlings. Guess what happened? It is the last day of, oh my gosh. Like, it is the last day of February. My goodness. Hello, everybody. Come on in here. I think my. It is the last day of February. Yes, it is the last day of February. It's the last day of Black History Month. It's the last day of Reggae Month. It's the last day of Love Month. But you see, all these things that says the last day of something, the only thing that we cannot take anywhere else is the last day of February. That's the only thing that we cannot take over to March, because that's a whole different month. That's the only thing that we cannot take over to March, right? We can take reggae over to March. We can take love over to March. Mm-hmm. So when I say we can take our history over to March as well. So guess what happened? When I say it's the last day, it's because that's what they said. It's because that's what is given from society, that we have a month to do this. So what is it that we have a month for? Do we have a month to bring awareness? Do we have a month to exercise our rights? Do we have a month to expand in what we have? Do we have a month to show up and take action? Do we have a month to just say this is who we really are? Do we really have a month for this? Come on, somebody. A month? No, darling. We need an entire lifetime. We need an entire space. And when we're talking about entire space, I'm talking about an entire space. We need an entire space to show up. We need an entire space to dance and show our culture and embrace that which we are. We need a whole space. And that whole space cannot be completed in 1 month. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. So we need the entire time that we have on earth to do this, to show up. To show up with our culture, to show up with our story, to show up with our love. We need all the time that we have on earth. Every time that we have, we don't know the time limit. So we want to exercise the right to come in and to show up and to make it known that, guess what? Since I say Black History Month, our history gonna carry on. Our history is forever. Because I told you before, if this is not your first time hearing me, I say that I don't go by Black history. I go by our culture. I go by our heritage. Yes, indeed, by our heritage. And because we go by our heritage, I show up, and I show up on behalf of those who are out there. Yes, I show up on behalf of my family. I show up on behalf of my community, the one that raised me to be your host. So yes, indeed. So as we come on, close the door of February, we'll now open the door of that which we can do together, and that is share our story. Yes, that's where we can share our story. When we share our story, you'll see that somewhere along the line we are going to be related somewhere. It is going to validate that we are one. It don't take much for us to define that we are one. We are one. Our skin color does not define that we are one. Our story join us together, and it says that we are one. If you travel around the world like I do, you know that we are definitely one, right? You will definitely know that we are one and one only. Yes, indeed, we are one, and that statement remained with me, that we are different and we are the same at the same time. So let me tell you, with that said, I just want to say to you, because we are one and we are celebrating our culture and our heritage and our history, our story. Yes, We come together whether we cover up, whether we don't cover up. We come together whether we reveal ourselves naturally. We show up just the same. We show up on behalf of those who are not showing up. I show up on behalf of those who are afraid to speak up. I show up on behalf of those who are afraid to tell their story. You see, you hear that music? That's where I'm from. But you see, that don't define me totally. Because my authentic self is built upon stories and stories and stories. See, where I'm from is my base. That is my base. So when you have a stable base, you know how to make it to the next level. Yes, you know how to make it to the next level when you have a base. But without a base, you are shaky, you're unstable. But I don't believe in instability. I want to be stable. So because I want to be stable, I am going to use my base as a lot of example, a lot of analogy, because it matters. That is where my story lies. That's where my story climbs from. That is where I broke out of my story to come here as your host. So with that said, I want to say welcome to another episode of the Question Live Show with your host, the one and only Verona Willis-Brown. That is me. Yes, I am your host. I am your host for the past 13 seasons. I am your host for the past 377. Come on, somebody. 300. Oops, this got to go down a little. 370 episodes. I've been your host. And because I've been your host for that long, listen, with 371 episodes, we can continue to be together. Because now you are family. If you've been with me for at least 50 episodes, 100 episodes, whatever the amount of episodes that you've been with me, guess what's going to happen? We are family already, so there's no way that you can leave me and there's no way I'm going to leave you, right? But if I'm going anywhere for any reason, I'm taking you with me. Yes, indeed, I'm going to take you with me. I'm going to like, ding, ding, ding. We are going, we are relocating, we're relocating, we are doing something, okay? So listen up. This is a space that was created out of my heart. It is my vision to help humanity. It is my vision to deposit humanity and help replenish the earth. God created me with gifts and talent to help replenish the earth. So wherever I show up, wherever He sent me, wherever God sent me, that is it. I'm going to replenish the earth because that is my purpose and because it is your purpose too. So we could be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. Because it is your purpose too, and individual, we must find our individual purpose. But collectively, our purpose is to be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. So because that's what it is, and I already know what it is, that's how we're going to show up today. Listen, when I created this space 370 episode, when the space was created 370 episodes ago, I was so afraid. I was very much afraid to show up. I was very much afraid to tell my story. I was very much afraid to speak up. I was very much afraid to just be on camera. I was very much afraid. And I started out very, very shaky and very, very nervous. And I want to say to somebody that it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be anxious. It is okay to be scared. It is very much okay. I did all of this 370 episodes ago, very scared. And here I am, 371 episodes today. Am I still scared? Maybe a little bit. But it's okay. Am I still nervous? A little bit, but it's okay. It is my nervous is my emotions. And you must acknowledge the fact that those are your emotions. And you should acknowledge them, validate them, and then you are the boss, so you must know how to maneuver them. Yes, you must know how to maneuver your emotions. And that's what I'm doing. And that's how I got to 371 episode. Now it's like, I'm here now. I'm here now, right? So listen, when I created this space, I created it with you in mind. With you. I wanted to hear your story. I wanted you to come on in here and share your story with us. I wanted you to come on in here and tell us where you're coming from, what are your valley story, and how you make it to the mountaintop. I created this space for those who have released their books and all these great things. For the creative world, I created this story, right? This story was created for the creative world, for those of us who believe that we are not being seen, for those of us who believe that nobody hear us, nobody acknowledge our gifts and our talents. We seem to be like the least among the number. We seem like the one that you created something that is not valid. We seem like the one that what we are bringing to the table is not important. But let me tell you something. Whatever we are bringing to the table, it is valid and it is important and needed. Without us, there's no you. Without you, there's no us. So listen, we are all on a journey. We are all on a journey, and somewhere along the line, we have the capacity and the capability to achieve something and to produce something, create something, to build something. So with that said, I want to say to you that we are on a journey called life. Absolutely a journey called life. And because we are all on a journey called life, we are going to cross paths together. When we cross paths together, be sure that we want to make a positive impact on each other. So we should have the intention and expectation and goal to make a positive impact on each other. When we show up, we should not just show up to say, no. We should show up with a positive intention, to with an expectation to make that positive impact so we can make the world a better place. You see, everybody, I mean, absolutely everybody would like to succeed in this life. Everybody. I mean, yeah. Everybody would like to succeed in this life. And because everybody would like to succeed in this life, I want to inform you or remind you that nobody can succeed by themselves. Absolutely nobody. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what accomplishment you have accomplished. Whether you are the prime minister, the president, the governor, the teacher, the doctor, the lawyers, Indian chief, whoever you are, whatever political office you hold, you did not get there by yourself. Whatever position you intend to hold, you cannot get there by yourself. Whatever business you wish to start, you cannot get there by yourself. You see, when I show up here for 370 episodes, I don't get here by myself. It is your contribution on this channel. So if you never heard of the Are You Free Enough platform, you never heard of Verona Willis-Brown before, you never heard of the Christian Live Show before, then guess what? Tonight is your night. Because as we close the door of February, what special night for you to be here as a first timer. So this space is because of you showing up, you subscribe, you like a video, you watch a video, you watch a live. It is because of all of that. That's why I could make it to 371 episode. So you see, I need you and you need me. We need each other. And if we turn the first two letters around in success or support, that's mean us, you and I working together. So let us understand this concept really, really, really well, that I am only here, I'm present to raise your level of consciousness. So with that said, this is a space for you. On this space, we like to celebrate. Yes, we do. We like to celebrate on this space, whether it is your birthday, your anniversary, your boo's birthday, your children's birthday, your parents' birthday, somebody's birthday, you achieve something, you want to achieve something, you make one step, which is better than no step. It's your neighbor's birthday. It is your friend's birthday. It is somebody's birthday. We like to celebrate that. So please put in the comment section so we could celebrate you. Today, we talk about that in just a minute. If it is your anniversary, we want to do that as well. If you met a boo met you, we like to celebrate that as well. You found out you're having a baby, you had a baby, you got married, you got proposed to, we like to celebrate that as well. Whether you develop yourself a little bit more, we would like to celebrate you. So basically what I'm saying, we celebrate small wins and big wins. That is what we do over here. Because when we celebrate each other, what is going to happen? That is saying that it is a form of support. Celebrate each other is a form of support. And I say, come on in here so we can support each other. The more we support each other, it is the stronger we will be. And when we grow stronger together, we achieve more. If you didn't know that, now you know that today, that we achieve more working together. Believe that we can and do it. Show up and take action. Yes. Now listen up, we are in season 13 of this show, and it is the season of spillover and splash and dash. Simply mean that whatever you planted, whatever you did, whatever happened in the past some years back, simple mean what is going to happen? It is going to splash out at this time. It is going to spread out at this time. It's going to spill over at this time. So anybody in the way of what is about to happen, anybody in the way of your spill over, your splash, your dash, baby, your spread out, they're going to be affected. So good, bad, or ugly, somebody's going to be affected by it. So if this is your first time on this channel, put it first time. And for those of you who've been here, you know that I am a native of the most beautiful island in the world. This is the representation. Sister saying, you hear the reggae in the back? It's reggae month. So I would like to bring in some reggae. That's right. That's why the reggae music is playing in the back. Because, you know, reggae month is closing out. And because reggae month is closing out, I come representing the culture. It is reggae month. Reggae coming out of the most beautiful place, Jamaica. So for those of you who know, I'm a native of the most beautiful place, Jamaica, and because of so, I like to talk about my little backgrounds that make a big impact. Yes, indeed, my humble beginning that made a big impact, and because it made an impact, honey, let me tell you something about that. I'm a farmer's daughter. I'm a farmer's daughter and I believe in helping humanity. I'm a farmer's daughter because what I born into a family where I saw my parents, my mama was a community mama. I saw my mama did some stuff. And I believe seeing my mother, I saw my mother doing stuff, but it was already embedded in me. And she was the vessel to bring me forward to let me see that, see, she's doing it. You see, it was already embedded in me to help society. It was already embedded in me to lift up humanity. And with that said, because it was embedded in me, I tell you the story of the little girl who helped another student in her class. She was nothing more than probably 7, and she was helping somebody else in a class. So it's already in my DNA to help you. It's already in my DNA to help you bring forth your purpose. Why? Because I'm a midwife of purpose. Right. So I help you bring forth your purpose. And that's why this space was created. Even sometimes I sit there, I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Sometimes I question myself. I do. I question myself. But I want to talk about the fact that I'm from a huge family. And sometimes from a huge family, it get lonely. It does. It get lonely, lonely. Yes, it get lonely on that side. And somewhere on the huge family side, I'm on the bottom of the list. So I don't know when you're at the bottom of the list if the impact kind of like rolled on you or something happened when you're like almost right there. Something happened when something happened when you're next to the baby or I don't know, because it's like the second child, the middle child, they call it the middle child syndrome. There's a middle child syndrome, y'all know. If you didn't know that, there's a middle child syndrome. MCS is a middle child syndrome. Am I a middle child? I wouldn't really call myself a middle child. Mm-mm. But I'm almost on the bottom. So somehow I got the middle child syndrome. I believe I got the middle child syndrome, right? Boy, girl, I got the middle child syndrome. And with that said, I have a great responsibility. I do. I have a great responsibility to show up. I have a great responsibility. So right now, I'm creating my own legacy and I'm carrying my parents' legacy as well. So I have a great responsibility. I don't know of nobody else, but I do. I carry a great responsibility. And so with that said, we do have a lot of birthdays in my family. In my biological family, we have birthdays literally from January 1st all the way to December. Literally, we have birthdays every single month. Some, a lot. January, we had a lot of birthdays. I did not even know that we had so many birthdays in my family for January. But we had a lot of birthdays for January. And here comes February again. We do have a lot of birthdays. So big up all the birthday people in my family. Today is one of my brother's birthday. I remember. I look at my calendar and I remember. I do. I remember. So big up and shout out to my brother One of my elder brother birthday is today. And anybody's birthday in the family that's birthday is it was in this month because actually the February is over. So in this month, anybody birthday was this month. Happy birthdays. Right? If I didn't shout you out yet, happy birthday to you. March is coming up. We're gonna have a lot of birthdays. That was as well. Yeah, we're gonna have birthdays too. So again, there's no month that we don't have birthdays. And now with that, if anybody out there that's related to me, not biologically, but somehow we related by close friends, family, something, family friends, and you got a birthday, happy birthday to you too. So yeah. So listen up, listen up. Drink some water. Hold on. Drink some water. Listen up, right? We talk about what month is this. This is February closing the door. February is closing the door. And because February is closing the door, I want to say it is considered, because I don't really use a lot of things. I grew up into not saying all of that stuff. Let me say this first. I grew up in an era, or I grew up in a family. I grew up in a time where nobody told me I was a black girl. Right? I grew up in a time. I was born in a family. Nobody told me I was a black girl. They never said that, little black girl. That was not a part of me. That was not a part of my identity that I was a black girl. I never got the history that I was a black girl. I never got the history that I'm from a black family. I never got the history that my sisters and brothers are black. I never got that history. I just never get that teaching. And I'm honestly telling you, I just never got that teaching. And it was just not that. I was told who I was as a little girl, that I was smart. That I came first in my class. I was the top student. I was brilliant. I look good. I had that. That's what was given to me. That's what was served to me, that I was brilliant. And girl, you look good. And you always helping somebody. You're a helper. You get on the mic and you sing and somebody notice you and all these things. That's what I was taught. So nobody like, oh my God, you see the little black girl that she could sing? Yep, I could sing. I would get to a church event and I would sing, and my daddy would be so proud. And my daddy was like, oh, my little black daughter could sing. That little black girl. No, they never used that word. The only time we used the word black was when we were coloring something. So that was it. I saw the color black because we had a black marker. The pen ink was black. The pencil mark was black. That was the only black that I know. We had a leader. We had a leader, and his complexion was not mine. But did I call him the white man? No, I didn't call him a white man. I called him the prime minister. So when we are using the words white and black to define people, that's really not me. That for me to define you as a black and white, oh, you're my black sister, my white sister, that really it actually don't define me. It don't concrete me, it don't validate me, it don't stamp on me, it don't approve on me. Absolutely not. A couple of years ago, somebody said something about a black. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I'm a black woman. What are you talking about? First of all, if I grew up as a black girl, then I'm a black woman. But if I didn't grow up as a black girl, I can't be a black woman. I'm just me. I'm a beautiful woman. And that's it. These are the words that I know I was a girl. I know I was smart. I know I was beautiful. Maybe I know I was funny. That's when people say I'm funny. I have a sense of humor. You know, I help people. These are the things. So me celebrating and saying Black History Month is like, okay, right? So I don't want to be identified as black. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to be identified as a color. I want to be identified as a powerful being. I want to be identified as a beautiful being, a beautiful woman. I want to identify as a goddess. I want to be identified as royalty, that which I was born as. I want to, because it's in my DNA. I want to identify as smart, creative. I want to be identified as that. But for me to be identified as a color, uh-uh. Absolutely not. I will not take that. I will not respond to that. No, no, no. I will not be responding to that kind of greeting. So you are not my white sister. You are not my black sister, honey. My family is so diverse. When I heard the word diverse, and I discovered this word diverse, and I realized what was happening, and all this mix up and all these things. That's my family. That is my family. Like, oh, you mix, you diverse, you this. That's my family. That's literally my family. So again, I'm telling you, I can't be identified as a black woman. No, I'm powerful. So I like to, from in my thing, because I don't want to be identified as a black woman, as a color, I decided to just, if you know me, you know that I have a very close relationship with words. So what I did, I rearranged some stuff. I rearranged and I broke myself, and God helped me. God is my teacher. God is such a great professor. I rearranged the thoughts and I rearranged my perception of life. And I opened the door and said, why would I say Black History Month when I could say Heritage Month or Culture Month? Because it doesn't matter where you're from as a native. We as a people can relate. We can relate to something. I tell you a story that we can relate to something, whether it is a solution that we had to something, whether it is the way we got over some stuff, the way we got over some hump. We as a people, we as a culture, we as a community can relate to each other. I told you the story that when we didn't have no toothpaste, what we did, we cut the tube of that toothpaste thing and get in there and we get some more toothpaste out of it. I told you when we didn't have a pencil eraser. In school, we had no pencil. Where is that? In school, we use our eraser that we have no eraser. And what we did, and we bite down this metal thing. Oh, strong were her teeth. We bite down this metal thing and we got an eraser and voila, we good. When we got no sharpener for our pencil, what we did, we used a knife or something and scrape that down. My daddy used to take a knife and scrape down that pencil and voila, we got pencil to go to school. If it's 5 pencils we had, he would take some time and sharpen up that pencil. 5 pencil, voila, you take that 5 pencils to go to school, 2 each, okay? You get 2 pencils, you get 2 pencils, and try your best. Don't break the point because maybe it's not going to sharpen again. So when we can sharpen it, we take our nails and strip off this, and voila, we got a point. So these are the story. These are the valley story that we rise out of. And now we are sitting somewhere. We're really not on the top because you see, sometimes when we think and tell ourselves that we're on the top, we lost that sense of humility. We do. We lost a sense of humility. And we're not here to lose the sense of humility. We want to be in the position to say we remain humble when we get to this point. We want to remain humble. We talk about how many times we take a piece of soap because we had no soap. We take a piece of soap. We was not going to throw out the little piece of soap that we had, like, oh, the soap is finished. Say that again. The soap is finished? No, no, no. The soap is not finished. I could see a little piece right there. Take that little piece, rub it in your hand, rub on your body, rub it in your wash rag, and wash up your body. We talk about how we used to wash our clothes by hand, or the clothes brush, or the little grater thing for the soap for the clothes. That is what we're talking about. No, we got upgraded where we go to the machine. Time has changed. But what happened? When time changed, we should remain humble. It doesn't matter what we accomplish, we should remain humble. And that is where I see that we are not remaining humble. We get to a point of elevation, and we are losing that humility. We are losing that, right? We talk about how my mama used to make food and she would think of somebody else outside of the house and like, hey, somebody's my past and they don't have no food. And she would make sure that when she shared our food, she would cut up our food in pieces. And when she cut our food in pieces, just in case somebody pays, somebody could get something. And she would share our food in pieces. And when she do that, you're not gonna complain like, "Oh, I only got 3 pieces of dumpling." That's not one dumpling. Yes, it is one dumpling. Take it and eat it and go on about your business. Yep, that's my mama. Yeah, so we talk about these stories. We talk about when we had, listen, let me tell you something. What you know? This is what I'm talking about. What you know about cultural store when you carry the water on a bigger thing than this? When you're probably 2, you get a little cup like this to carry your water because everybody was going to chip in. Everybody was going to help. And you carry the water on your head. On a little bucket of water, you got to go miles with that bucket of water. Why? Because there was no water in your home. There was no water in your home, so you got to travel miles to go to the standpipe to go get water to come back to make sure that your mama cook, your house clean, your clothes wash, you take a shower. What you know about that? And you better don't let none of the water splash because the little bit of water that you reach on with, you better make sure how you're gonna know how it's gonna stretch, right? So these are the things. We talk about when you go into the shop, the little shop in the community, and you said, my mama said if you could give me a bottle of oil, my mama said if you give me some salt, some sugar, some flour, some rice, until she see you. Nobody chase you down for that money. But they believe and they trust. We had a belief system. We had a trust system. We had a trust. We had a community system. And our community says that we work together. That is a community that I came out of. We work together. We build together. Right? We build together. And because we build together, that instill in me that we should continue to build together. We must continue to make this a thing. We should not come out, we should not grow out, we should not leave, we should not drop off our culture belief. Because that takes us into the heritage, the full-blown heritage of us as a people. When our community come together, our culture come together, here comes the heritage. And what happened? That is where the knowledge come together, we work together, and we become more powerful. So let us rise into this place of working together. Right? Let us rise into that. We talk about washing our clothes by hand and hanging them on a clothesline. Whether you were from the island, whether you were from America, wherever you were from, whether you were from Africa, wherever you were from, we had a clothesline. And listen, if we didn't have a clothesline and some form of tree or something or some form of bush was in the yard, bam, those clothes were hanging, was going to spread right out on there. You wash your sheet, you wash whatever, and you throw it right on that bush. It might be some rose bush. Hello. It might be some cotton tree. Hello. It might be some mango tree. Hello. You hang that clothes right there and wait for the sun to come and shine and dry your clothes. But one thing I tell you, you better know how to look. We learn how to study the sky. See when the cloud is getting darker and darker, and know that something is going to happen, and that's called rain. And once you study the sky, you know that do not let one raindrop hit those clean clothes out there on that line or on the tree or on the bush. Run as fast as you can, grab those clothes and go. You see, I tell you this, that we walk to school, miles to school, miles. Sometimes you ain't got no shoes, so you walk barefoot. Or sometimes you got one shoe and you walk that bottom of that shoe off. And guess what's going to happen? You might not get another one. So what they did, they got a little cardboard thing, put it on the bottom of the shoes, glue that bad boy in, and you're good to go. Go on about your business, go learn something, go learn something. My community, my culture, we believe in learning something. My culture, my community, my little island. We believe in the saying that says, It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise the child. We hear this over and over. This is not the first time you will hear it on this show. On this show, you might hear a few things, but it's not the first time you heard it. It takes a village to hear the child, raise a child. It is cultural. It is not only cultural, it is our heritage, it is our community. It is a saying that we must get in and we must work it. It takes a village. Let me tell you something. Literally, it took a village to raise me. It took a village to raise my family. It took a village to raise my community, because I tell you what, if you are on the street and you are doing something on the street that is unacceptable, believe me, there's going to be an elder on the street. Oh, that is not you doing that. And they knew, everybody knew each other, so they already identified which family you came from. They didn't need your uniform to identify. Having your uniform was one thing, but they knew your family. And you start doing something out of what you were taught, I know you are not doing that. And voila, they were going to discipline you from the moment they noticed all the way maybe to your gate. And I tell you what, we didn't have no cell phone. We didn't have where we're going to call no mama. School was not calling the mama. School was not, principal was not texting the teacher. Principal was not calling the mama. Teacher was not calling their parents. Nobody was calling the parents. But I tell you what, there was a telepathic message that was reaching home before you get there. You see, that is the culture I came out from. There was a telepathic. So when we're having telepathic information now, when we're having manifestation now, it is not new to me. A telepathic conversation is not new to me. This is something that we did. You get home and your mama is standing there with her hand on her hip, waiting for you to come home, because the news already got there of what you were doing, misbehaving on the road or in school. Listen, I remember going to school and you late. Honey, don't be late, because you see, we learn discipline in school. So I'm telling you this, we learn to discipline to show up on time. Yes, indeed. But these are the things that cause us now to have a cultural defect. Deficiency of the culture is happening right about now. There is a deficiency because I told you this story, not because I want to talk about me so much. I'm telling you this story not to impress you. I am telling you this story to impart up on you, to impact your life, to let you know that I'm here to inspire you. That our story matter. So let us celebrate our story as we go along. You see, as we come into a place now, having a deficiency can lead to that. Yeah. You see, I learned something in school that when you're having like a calcium deficiency, your bones are brittle. Simply mean you might fall down very easy. You might break a bone very easy. I learned that. You have an iron deficiency. Woo, ladies. You have an iron deficiency, your blood count is going to drop. And what happened? You are weak. You are going to be losing blood. All these things. It's not going to reach out well, because when you lose blood or your iron is low, your oxygen level is low. Right? So when we're having a lot of deficiency like vitamin D, what happens? You're prone to get infection and inflammation. You're prone to acquire a lot of mucus in your body. Yeah. So when we're having a cultural deficiency, it is affecting the next generation. It is affecting generations to come. So I am here to encourage you to work on this little defect of the culture, and let's come together and share. Is this something I'm going to come in? Oh, let me pause this a second. Cultural deficiency simply means that we are refusing. We are refusing to share stories like this. We are refusing to work together as a family, community, neighborhood, culture. We're refusing to work together as a culture. We're refusing to let one person at least go ahead and then come and share with us. But the minute one person get ahead, we are pulling them back. We are refusing to share our cultural story with our children that's born out of the culture. We are refusing to introduce them to the very things that we came out of. Why? Because we want to give them the glitz and the glam and the beauty and the smoothness of life. But absolutely not. The valley and the mountaintop is a part of our heritage. So we're refusing to do that. We have now children who raise in our culture. We have children who partially raise in our culture. And what happened when they raise in our culture? They have their own children and they withdraw their children to such a place that they're not learning the full dose of the culture. So they're having a defect of the culture. When you have a defect of a culture, is that it's a refusal of something to infuse you to go into your mountain story. When we're having a defect of the culture, we are not working together. Mean we are dragging one person that's going ahead, we are pulling the tail of the person and saying, no, you can't make it. No, you're not. No, you're not doing that. No, why are you doing that? No, why are you doing that? Oh, you think you're better than me. Oh, you think you're better than me. Huh? We having a defect in the culture that as we squeeze the culture out of the other person who is saying, what are you doing? Somebody's achieving something. And simply mean if somebody's achieving something, that means we are paving the way for generations to come. When we are paving the way, I tell you what, your culture can't leave you. So when we are paving the way for somebody, generations to come, do not refuse. Do not sit there and pull them back. Let they go and be great, because greatness is inside of each and every one of us. And each and every one of us learn at different pace. Each one of us understand that this life comes with the valley and the mountain and in between. So as we dip down in the valley, we must come back up and get to the top of the mountain. I literally was born on the mountaintop. It is not a saying. I was literally born on the mountaintop. So simply mean I'm on the mountaintop and I could look down in the valley, but I have my valley story. See, I just gave you a few of them. Those are my valley stories. So I'm not on the mountaintop. I'm like, oh, I forgot about my valley story. No, baby, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter where you were born. Your culture cannot leave you, because your culture is what you're born in. Your culture is what got you fed. Your culture is what got you to this point. I tell you a story. There are so many people right now with a culture that they have their children, and because they refuse to teach their children the culture, those children branch out and they got to learn it elsewhere. Why would that be? Because what? We are having a defect inside of the family, and that defect in the family goes out to the neighborhood, from out of the neighborhood to the community, from the community to the culture, heritage. And it goes, bam, right into society. It does. It goes right into society. Another thing, welcome in. Another thing. When we get to the cultural wealth. Now, when we get to the cultural wealth, there is a defect. The defect of cultural wealth is in there. And you believe that you should not be wealthy. Why? Because you're coming out of a culture where you don't know the relationship between you and money. You never learn the relationship between you and money. You never develop a relationship between you and money. So culturally, you believe that you should stay in poverty. Culturally, you believe that you should stay poor. Culturally, you believe that we don't deserve a thing or two. Culturally, you believe that things need to be added down to you. Absolutely not. That is a defect in the culture. You see, culturally, we have greatness inside of us. And when we rise up, when we come together, and when we say, I see you making a stride. I see you came out of your community and you're making something. And what? You did not forget about it. You came back and you dropped in something. I salute people who remember. I salute people who remember their path, their first path. I salute people who said, I remember when I had no water to drink. I remember when I had no food. I remember when my mama used to serve me this much. Listen, I remember when my mama like, you get a cup of porridge. I remember my own story when I had to take my breakfast. Well, it was in me. I remember my own story where I took my breakfast to school and shared it with somebody who didn't have. So the cultural defect is valid. It's a deficiency, and I call upon you that you search your culture and see where you stand. Where do you stand within your culture? As I said, it's not where you were born. I told you I'm a native of Jamaica, but it's not because I'm a native of Jamaica that makes my culture my culture. No, no, no. You see, when I migrated to the United States of America, I realized that, hey, my culture is here. My people are here. And I'm not talking about Jamaicans. I'm talking about finding the people who can relate to my story. Finding the people who are around me. It is not about, oh, you from Jamaica? Oh my goodness. No, it's not even the color of my skin. Absolutely not. It's who can relate to my story. Now you become my family. That is the culture. So when we're talking about mixed race, mixed culture, mix that, mix this, how can they relate to your story? How can they relate to your story? That is the question you ask yourself. How can? So, do we consider ourselves colors? I don't. Do you consider yourself color? That is up to you. But me? No. I will not define myself as a color. I will define myself as a great human being, here to impact society. I'm here, I define myself as a great human being, ready to lift up humanity, replenish the earth with the gifts and the talent that was embedded in my DNA. You see, the gifts and the talent that's embedded in our DNA, we fail to acknowledge them. We fail to utilize them. We fail to ignite them with somebody else and strike that match. So we tend to go forward or backwards or sideways with cultural deficiency. We tend to forget that we had a family. We tend to create only a circle around our biological family, and we forget that the family is everybody that you come in space with. Once you walk into a space, now you got a new person that's a part of the family. I call them our global family. I call them my global family. So each and every opportunity that God gave me, and I show up somewhere, and God said, go that way, and I go that way. Each direction that I get to show up somewhere, I acquire you as my family. You tuning in, you are my family. Am I looking at your complexion? No, darling, because inside of my family, my biological family, we got different complexions. We got different shape of face, different texture of hair, different shape of body. Are they not my family? They're my family. So how can I say that I'm a Black woman? Absolutely not. I am a powerful woman. I am a great woman. I am a woman who native ground is Jamaica. Mm-hmm. If I could tell you, I could tell you why. Why? I tell you this. I never learned to speak my native language. I didn't. Mm-mm. I never learned to speak my native language. It was not given to me in such a way that I have to practice it. I'm not ashamed. No, I'm not. You see, I had someone in my space, and my native language was like, no. So I was deprived. So when I'm telling you about cultural deficiency, I had it. I had it. I know I had to inject myself to say I will no longer be cultural defect. I will no longer walk as a cultural defect person. No, I will no longer walk saying that I have a deficiency because somebody deprived me of my native language. Somebody deprived me of my cultural language because the native language really is English. Yeah, it's not really patois. It's not really broken English. The native language of Jamaica is English, proper British English. But that's exactly what I was told. And that's exactly what I was taught. I was taught the proper English. But the cultural language It's my culture. And that got pulled away from me. It did. I was so proper that I was like, ooh, what is that? I know that. I'm not saying this to say I'm showing off that I speak proper. I do speak proper because that's what I was taught. But you see, when you have your cultural language, introduce it to your generation, introduce it to your children. I was deprived. And when I found out that my authentic self is my cultural language, mm, mm, honey, I took that in and I inject myself. And I said, no, you show up and you show up culturally. So now I'm overdosed somewhat with my cultural language. You see, my cultural language defines my native ground, my humble beginnings. My cultural language is saying, girl, you are native from Jamaica. Wagwan, pick up yourself. And I used to be so afraid. I used to be so afraid of my cultural language. Like, oh my God, like no. Y'all know what I mean? Anybody? If you can relate, then let me know you can relate. So I know that I'm not by myself. Right? My cultural language was like, girl, bye. So I showed up every day, knowing that I had a deficiency, knowing that I was defect culturally, not embracing my cultural language. But there's a solution for that. When we talk about biracial and all that stuff, if you are considered biracial, introduce your children, your family, the next generation to whatever language on both sides of the line. Over here, by me and two. One side, this side. Introduce your children to both sides. Y'all get me hot because I've been thinking about Jamaica. I just be getting hot. And then y'all know, if y'all been on here, y'all know that I go in my home private summer. If you are considered mixed, I don't care how many mix you have. You see, mix is like you're making a cake. My mama was a baker. You got to put the ingredients in. So when you talk about mix, that means they're ingredients. So if there are ingredients in something, if I'm baking you a cake and I say, hello, I'm baking you a cake, simple mean, or I want you to help me to make a cake, simple mean what is going to happen. I'm going to tell you, we're going to put egg, flour, sugar, salt, all this stuff. I'm telling you the ingredients. It's the same thing as your culture. So if you're considered a mixed culture, a biracial family, mixed family, biracial family, introduce your children to such. Find that other side. Don't deprive them. Do not deprive this generation of who they are. Your culture defines you. Mm-hmm. You know how beautiful it is to know that you wrap yourself, you're overdosed, you're fully fortified with your culture. Do you know what it is to show up, stand firm in your culture? Hmm? Do you know how proud it is to show up in your culture outfit? In your culture outfit? Simply mean your outer appearance. Do you know what that is? It's not everything. Everything got a time and a place. Everything got a time and a place. And I told you this. I was deprived. I was literally deprived. Do I feel bad? No. Am I mad that I was deprived? No. Did I get around with being deprived? I made it. But you see one thing about that? I am glad that I was deprived because now I got to the point where I came out of a family that was considered the poorest of the community. And what? I got result back here that you can achieve something. Mm-hmm. I now show up and said, I have no regrets. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. No, darling. I don't have no regrets that I was deprived of my cultural language. No, 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 no. Because what happened? If you've been on here, you know that I have a daughter. And because I was deprived of my cultural language, I didn't deprive my daughter of it. Why I did not deprive her of it? I gave her what I was taught, but I never gave her a full language from my mouth, but she got it from somebody else. Yes, she did. She got it from my family. I told my family huge. So culturally, the cultural language never came from me to my daughter, but she got it from my family. And culturally, I took her to Jamaica to learn the culture. Take your children to learn their culture. So what? We can break some barriers and we shall walk around. We should be able to walk around not with a deficiency, not having a cultural defect, but we should walk around and having an effect on society as powerful beings. You know how you can start this? Because sometimes you are so afraid to do these things, or sometimes your children are so afraid. They're like, oh my God, like, what am I supposed to do? When you introduce it to them, because you're giving them a dose at a time, what they can do is to start a club. And it's called Cultural Club. It is there, it can be done. I didn't start a cultural club because I didn't know anything about cultural deficiency. I didn't know that I was defective culturally. So now I got to this point where I'm introducing it to you. You have the opportunity now to go introduce it to your children and allow them to start even a social club, cultural club for those who were deprived and for those who were defect culturally. Listen to me. Culturally, let us not go into a space where we hide ourselves. Darling, take off that and embrace your culture. It is your family, your neighborhood, your community, your culture, and now together it is our heritage. Let us embrace our heritage. Let us stand together with our heritage, because together with our heritage, we can do more. I need you. You need me. You might want to learn my cultural language, and guess what? I want to learn yours. Let's do this, because what? We can. And together, we are stronger. This is your host of the Question Line Show. I'm glad that you tune in, and I hope you get in the opportunity now to go teach your family that culturally you rise. You see, because here we evolve in our authentic self, and that is how I knew that I was defective. That is how I knew I had a cultural deficiency. No longer will I do that. I'm overdose. Bye-bye. You think I'm playing? I'm not playing. No. Nope. So let's run out of here as we close the door of February. March is in hindsight. Get out over there and find your culture. Don't let your culture stop when we close the door of February, but open your culture wide as we go further into 2025. Have yourself a great rest of February and the rest of 2025. I see you on the next go around. Bye bye. Who is this? Your host, Verona Willis-Brown. Bye. In my country, you want me to tell you in my country what we say? Ta-ta. See you later. What good? Because I always say that. What? What good, child. What good. See you on the next go around. Bye.